Hey everybody, welcome back to the dirtiest spot on YouTube. I'm your ghost. Today I wanted to share my thoughts about having a Steam Deck and a Switch 2. Which one do I play more often? Which one do I think is more impressive? Which one does my wallet like more? Importantly, what will you get this holiday season? So comparing the looks of the two units, the Steam Deck is quite beastly. It's thicker. It has even these grips on the back, and personally over time, this kind of does hurt my hands a little bit. It does have a unique look. It's got rear buttons back here, and I think these are in a great spot. I don't really hit them too often unless I need to. It also has gyro controls, and then it has these touch pads here with some haptic feedback. I haven't really messed around with gyro. I'm not really that kind of guy. However, when I did load up Left 4 Dead 2, whenever I interacted with the thumbsticks, gyro was just like on, so I had to quickly turn that off. Gyro is probably good for people that do use it, that play it for like FPSs or third-person shooters. Like I said, I don't know jack shit about it. The screen, it's majestic. Honestly, it's the best screen I own. Everything looks great on this device. I don't have a screen cover on or anything like that. I've heard some weird shit. I played around with a tiny bit of HDR, and I've seen some footage of Red Dead looking pretty damn good on here. I've only played around with Resident Evil, and it looks pretty decent. For battery life, it depends on what you're playing. I usually get about 4 to 8 hours, depending on what I'm playing. If I'm playing like graphic-intensive games, you're pushing around like 3 to 4 hours there. Lastly, with the Steam Deck, there's a few accessories. There's actually quite a bit of accessories, but a lot of them are like that standard bullshit where it's like, the case, the grip pads. No, when I'm talking about actual accessories for this thing, there is the dock, and then probably like a controller or something. I'd recommend a PlayStation 5 controller or a PS4 controller because it has a touchpad on there and it has gyro. But the dock I don't have, but it basically makes your Steam Deck kind of like a Switch. So, you can plug it into your TV or monitor. I'm not sure exactly what else, but that's about $70 for that. And then whatever control, you don't even have to use a PlayStation controller if you don't want to. I don't know of any other like third-party controllers out there that have a touchpad and have gyro. Maybe a bootleg PS4 controller does. I don't know. But yeah, there's some options out there. But you're not limited to like Nintendo's hardware when it comes to the fucking Steam Deck. Because with the Switch 2, I tried pairing my 8-bit Duke controllers to it. And I Googled them that they are supposed to work with the Switch 2, but they don't want to. And that makes me really sad. So I had to improvise. But speaking on the Switch 2, I've talked my shit with it. We've all talked our shit with it, cried, but now it's time to be an adult. This is an impressive console. It's a huge upgrade over the Switch 1. This thing's basically almost like a PS4 Pro. And you might be thinking like, well, we have the 4 and we have the PS5 and then the PS6 is coming out. Well, think of this like in terms of Nintendo. They've never made a console this powerful. They never have. So it's interesting for the future of this device to see what the hell they're going to do or what other developers would do with it. But it's a cool looking handheld. It's sleek. It's a lot bigger than the Switch 1. I don't have my Switch 1 anymore. Why do I need it? The screen on it, I do like. It's not an OLED. It's a LCD, but the colors on it do pop. And like, I'm pretty happy with it. And to know that I'm never going to have burn-in, that is, a nice touch with it. It is 120 hertz display. Now, I can't for the life of me tell, like, if these games are actually running at that. But it's nice to know that it is 120 hertz. There's this big metal kickstand on the back. And it actually is quite comfortable to hold it when you're holding in handheld mode. I find myself actually kind of holding it like this. But to carry it around, kind of like a GameCube, you can just carry it like a handle. A big improvement over the original Switch. As you can see, my hand is acting like a table. It's doing fine. But being in handheld mode with this thing, it can get a little uncomfortable. It just really reminds me of when I had my original Switch. It's just now bigger. Of course, everyone knows it has the magnetic Joy-Cons. These are so fun to play with. Just take them on and off. What's cool about it is you technically get 2 controllers with this. So that's the look and feel of both devices. So let's talk about the games. We'll start with the Steam Deck. Now, this can't play everything. It is a handheld PC technically, and this thing is technically old in PC years. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's only a couple years old. Well, you gotta think of PC years kind of like dog years. It can play some modern games at a decent frame rate, like Helldivers and Space Marine 2. Though that's not really what I'm playing a lot on here. I'm playing through like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 on here. I got Bloodborne emulating on here, and it is absolutely awesome. Elden Ring, Master Chief Collection. I got Resident Evil 7 on here. I did have Red Dead on here, but that game is massive, and I don't have an SD card yet. So I had to make decisions. Big boy decisions. Here there's games that run great on deck, and then there's like all my games. You can install a game, you just gotta you have to do some research before you put a game on here. Take a chance. Be willing to adjust a few settings if you want to see if it works, or just Google it, But There's games that work great on deck. Now, I only have one issue so far. That was with Resident Evil 7. The first cutscene had some rainbow effects in the car, and I had to download Proton to fix that. But, I mean, after that, it was fine. But I had to tweak around with Red Dead to get that working just a little bit. It ran pretty damn well, around like 30 to 40. And that was with pretty high resolution. But when you do play games on here, it's fucking dope. The screen, it just pops. Like I said, it's OLED. It sings. It's majestic. It's an experience. There's games on here that the Switch 2 can't play, like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA's on here. We got God of War. Yeah, that's right, God of War's on here. But also, like I said, I'm playing Dark Souls on here again. And also Elden Ring. Where's Elden Ring, Mr. Switch 2? Last I heard, that game's pushing about 25 to 30 frames on there. Not sounding too good, but I got it right here. I'm going to make the assumption that you don't know about the majestical Steam store. So Steam is free. Basically, just think of it like Xbox Live or like the Xbox store, but completely for free. You can buy games on here, obviously, make friends, write reviews. And what's really cool about Steam is they constantly have deals on games, like all the time. First-party games, third-party games, and everything. Every game goes on sale eventually. Another cool thing, and there's reviews on every single game, and they're by real people, so you get it straight out of the people's mouth, and you get to see like how well a game is doing on Steam. Like, is it popular? How positive is the review? Switch 2. Boy, you got a lot to live up to. Can you do it? We'll see. Not to me, but it has its potential. For me right now, it is a little disappointing because there's not many first-party games out there. The ones we do have, there's one great one, Donkey Kong, and then you've already heard just shit about Mario. Not a bad game. It's very fun, especially with friends. And of course, every game's fun with friends, but there's something different about throwing a fucking shell at somebody. It's a huge, substantial upgrade over the original Switch. It's a lot bigger. It's prettier. It's just overall cooler. Magnetic Joy-Cons, like I said, I love playing with these things. And and you get 2 controllers right out of the box. So if you do pay for the $500 edition and get like Mario or whatever multiplayer game they do in the future, you get 2 controllers right off the rip. And you can just plug this thing in and play that game with a buddy. What won't be happy is your wallet. I'm sorry, honey. Mario Party has a new DLC, and I need that camera. I also need 2 more controllers. Yes, Nintendo, please take my money. But seriously, no. Nintendo, you dropped the ball with this one. You made $80 games the new norm. So I expect you to pay $10 for a DLC on a game I already own. Now, if you do have Switch Online or like whatever fucking version it is, you do get those games for free until, I think it's for like, it might be for the rest of this year or a whole year. I don't know, but it's limited and you don't get it for free forever. They also upcharge every single accessory for this console. This console is kind of a money pit as of right now. And Nintendo rarely does deals on games. Like, if you find a deal on a Nintendo game, you might go hit the slots or some shit. Like, you're lucky then. Like, you'd be lucky if you find, like, a $10 sale on the eShop on, like, a first-party Nintendo game. Not to mention on the hardware. Do they ever do deals on that? I don't think so. Now, other developers do discount their games on the eShop, so you do have that. But when it comes to Nintendo first-party titles, no. You can kiss that goodbye. They need their money. And they're going to get it. But yeah, for accessories, like I mentioned, the Steam Deck accessories, you got like 2 that I mentioned that are worth a shit, that aren't like a case. But with the Switch 2, there isn't like, for as far as like controllers and stuff, I haven't seen any like third-party Joy-Cons and shit like that. But when that does come out, like how reliable those going to be, I have no clue. But only the real accessories for this are the official Nintendo products. Now, if you do have like your OG Switch, your original Switch hardware, with your Joy-Cons and your Switch 1 controller, those will work on here. They will not wake up the console. And for those Joy-Cons, they don't have mouse mode. So like if you get like the new Mario Party and you don't want to pay $90 for two more Joy-Cons, and you want to use your other ones, well, mouse mode, you can't use it. You can't use mouse mode at all. And then I said like the camera's $50. You got to buy all this stuff. We don't have to buy all this stuff, but if you like want to play 4-player Joy-Con stuff, you have to buy another set of Joy-Cons, and that's $90. That's $90, $80 games, $10 DLC. It's a money pit. And then with the Steam Deck, it's like Steam sales, it's a lot up front, and you're gonna be saving a lot overall with those games. The Switch 2, it's a lot up front, and it's kind of a steady rate after that, But those are my thoughts and opinion on both consoles. Do I regret buying either of them? Hell no. I do love my Switch 2. It is an awesome family console. I do love my Steam Deck. It is awesome. In conclusion, which one do you buy? So that actually comes down to you. Are you willing to tinker and have fun and be a man and go into your system and tweak a few settings? Get a Steam Deck. But if you don't want to tinker with anything like that and you just want stuff to work, then get a Switch 2. This will get more games eventually, and I'm really hopeful that more games in the future will utilize like the mouse mode and more of like what can this thing actually do as far as performance. We got RE9 coming out, and if you see the trailer, you do see how well that game does look. But it is impressive, you know, for what they're doing. That's a brand new game coming out on, like I said, essentially kind of like a PS4. But that's it. That's both devices. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have either or which one are you going to pick up for this holiday season? What are you going to get your kids if your kids are thinking about getting a Steam Deck or a Switch 2? Like, what do you think about getting them? Or do you already have both consoles like I do? And even though this is not a console, it's a PC. But in conclusion, I'm a Steam Deck guy. Absolutely. I've wanted one ever since it came out, especially the OLED model. It is a badass unit. And for the Switch 2, this is a badass console. I do play on this thing often. I still love this thing. I am a Nintendo fanboy, but when they do shit, I will give them shit back because, you know, I'm sick of this corporate bullshit. That's it. You know, let me know what you guys think. Do you enjoy this type of content? If you do, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Stay dirty.